Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard. Thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. We'll take a look at the water vapor imagery loop here, looking at North America here on Tuesday morning. We see the first storm system that brought rain, severe weather, and snow to parts of the Corn Belt, brought some precipitation to the northeast as well, continuing to lift off to the northeast. We've got our next disturbance, though, already moving ashore over the western U.S., and that is going to shift over the central U.S. over the next 24 to 48 hours. We can see that looking at the jet stream here again Tuesday morning, that trough over the western U.S., that U shape in the jet stream, and that shifts eastward as we head to the middle part of the week, bringing unsettled weather first to the central U.S., but then towards the northeast as we get to the later part of the week. The radar picture as we start Tuesday morning, we've got some showers traveling across parts of the Great Lakes. That's going to move across parts of the northeast region here as we get through Tuesday night. Out of the area by Wednesday morning. We'll be dry for Wednesday during the first part of Thursday as well before our next disturbance moves through the area. Let's go ahead and time this out. So here we are Tuesday morning. These showers overspreading parts of southern New York, northern Pennsylvania, getting into perhaps Delaware, maybe as far north as parts of Massachusetts as we get into the overnight, but really passing through pretty quietly before we get to sunrise on Wednesday morning here, and we're quiet across the northeast region. Quiet as we head through the day on Wednesday. But as we get to Wednesday evening now we're starting to see some rain showers begin to move into parts of the eastern parts of the region here before it intensifies as we get into Wednesday night. Now seeing some heavier rainfall across parts of New York State. This continues to lift off to the north and to the east as we get into Thursday morning. As we wake up on Thursday morning, the heaviest precipitation traveling across parts of New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and then getting into Maine as we get into midday on Thursday, but this begins to, again, kind of weaken, lose its definition. We're just seeing off and on light rain showers across the region. As we get into Thursday night, our next storm system is starting to organize even more off to the west. This is that next big disturbance traveling through the central and the eastern Corn Belt during the day on Thursday. If we expand now, we'll take a look at the European model here, precipitation type forecast, and we'll show you, while it is a quiet-ish mid and late week, we do shift towards a more active and rainy pattern here across the northeast. So let's start it off here Thursday midday. Remember that big storm system, the next storm system off to the west, impacting the Corn Belt now midday Thursday. As we get into Thursday night and now Friday morning, we're starting to see this heavier precipitation shift into parts of the northeast region, parts of New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, getting in on some of that precipitation activity now Friday morning. We get into Friday evening, and now Saturday, this storm system is really starting to intensify as it moves up through the northeast region. So seeing some heavier rain now, perhaps some thunderstorm activity across Pennsylvania, New York State, getting into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Really the entire northeast region now. This is Friday night, getting into Saturday morning, seeing some heavy precipitation across the area. Saturday evening now, that rain still falling across a big part of the area as this low begins to kind of spin itself out, maybe stall out, looking at really kind of a cloudy weekend with off and on precipitation chances. We're all the way into midday Sunday now. Getting into Monday morning, this is just now getting out for you folks in Maine before we've already got another subtle front kind of sliding through the area, bringing some light precipitation perhaps Tuesday night into Tuesday morning. Now getting into Wednesday next week, of course, we're looking a week out now. Consistency, not quite there. Certainty, not quite there. So I'm just kind of showing you the overall pattern. Looks like we're going to stay in this kind of cloudy and rainy pattern once we get to the weekend into the early to middle part of next week. Details a bit unclear, but it does look like a little bit of an unsettled pattern as we head into the next week. Total precipitation getting us through Friday morning. You can see that's going to be mostly confined to the central U.S., where that storm system first begins to make its mark. If we take this out the next 10 days, though, the entire East Coast, the entire eastern United States, going to be getting in on that precipitation activity. So here you go again, Friday through 7 a.m. on Friday morning. Relatively quiet across the northeast and the eastern U.S., but then taking this through the next 10 days, really looking like an unsettled pattern with plenty of chances for precipitation, looking at, broadly about 1.5 to 3 inches of precipitation across the entire northeast region over the next 10 days. What happens with our temperatures? Well, we do warm up first. Here are our high temperatures for Wednesday, 40s and 50s across northern parts of the region, some 60s here showing up, some cooler temperatures across Pennsylvania with rain and cloud cover in that area, but still talking about middle 50s, so no brutally cold temperatures. As we get into the day on Thursday, that warmer weather beginning to lift into the region ahead of that next disturbance, so starting to see some 70s across Pennsylvania and New York. The Virginias here maybe touching 80. As we get into the day on Friday, high temperatures, 60s and 70s widespread, maybe a little bit cooler across the north here, 60s and 50s in parts of Maine. Saturday, high temperatures, and then Sunday, high temperatures. Remember, we shift towards a cloudy, rainy pattern here as we get to the weekend into early next week. But still, no cold air. We're not looking at cold temperatures sinking into the region. Just kind of a cloudy, cool, rainy pattern with still seeing high temperatures in the 50s, the 60s, 70s across southern parts of the Northeast region here. If you live in parts of, the Virginias, Maryland, the Delmarva, even Pennsylvania, still staying quite warm as we head into the middle part of next week. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video. You can find your next Northeast regional forecast update right here midday on Friday. Have a great day.